Welcome in Twitter, welcome in Facebook to This Week in Missouri Politics midweek update. Glad everyone could join us. Obviously, one heck of a midweek. We started these because there was so much news, you couldn't do them all in one setting. And so we started doing them, we started doing a midweek because there's so much news. There's no way to fit all the news in one Sunday broadcast. I want to thank this week's guests. You should totally check out Nick Schroer, Gene Evans, Sam Gladney running for state rep in Clayton. Glad to have all of them on the show. Jim Lemke. There are no gentlemen in the Senate, but that is not true when Jim Lemke's in the chamber. Interesting discussion. It was an interesting peek into what's happening inside the Republican Party. So far, just a bunch of dread and doom and gloom. But let's get started with the news that rocked the week. And the theme of this week is they went too far. They have wanted to do anything they could to get rid of this House report, delay it, anything they could do to not have this House report come out. I think I mentioned they would give Charlie Shields' dog a bath. They would have, signed a tax cut bill from Elijah Haahr. I think they were going to come out and endorse his. I'm sure Elijah Haahr really appreciates the governor's help with that. I think they would have done anything they could to delay it. So they went on this thing of putting out release every day, trying to drive a message, stoke folks up. And I get what they were doing. They had to you got some sycophant candidates that are tied to a consultant or two. You got some activists who just, they get more attention by being the only person supporting the governor in their county. You have the social media warrior people, and then you have the bots, which I'm a fan of the bots. I think the bots are humorous. I always love the ones that will write you as though you're going to answer them. And I know some people do. I think bots are funny. Direct all your bot traffic to me. I will not care at all. So I'm a bot. I'm a snicker of the bots. But they had to give them something to do. So they come up with this website or something, and they put out stuff. They went too far. One thing, and here's the thing. It's like the whole governor situation. The reason why it's such a bad situation is because he did a lot of really bad stuff. If he hadn't done a lot of bad stuff, you can't conjecture and conjure up these things. These are things that in some form or another happened. He was trying to grab onto something that if it would have been true, sure, it would have helped him. But he put out this thing about how the woman said she only saw it in a dream. It was bullshit. It was too far. It just went too far. There was like a 9-hour deposition. As I understand, there was a lot of emotion. It was the prosecutors did what they were going to do. They went to be rough, or the defense guys. His criminal defense lawyers went after her. Tough, hard. It was 9 hours. They tried to go through her personal life. They went aggressively at her, and I guess she said some things. They cherry-picked a few things and fired them up, but the problem is they went too far. So two things ended up happening that will not bode well for the governor. I predicted it. If you want to know who's the Eric Greitens Oracle, I'm the Eric Greitens Oracle. You're watching him. They were going to attack this woman. They attacked this woman. They attacked her. And then they went too far with the dream stuff. It just wasn't, the reason why it sounded fishy is because it was. So in their attempt to shame her, they come up with this dream thing. And I'll just read. So she puts out a statement via her attorney last night everybody's been waiting. Consultants that work for him have always said, hey, if she starts talking, it's over. I'm sure they'll move the goalposts, and that's what they do. And again, don't be mad at people for doing how they feed their family, doing what they do to feed their family. This is from the woman, the victim of the governor's. Navy SEALs have a code that directs its members to take responsibility for their actions and the actions of their teammates. With that code in mind, it's time for Governor Eric Greitens to take responsibility for his actions, as well as the actions of his team, which is made up of the best lawyers other people's money can buy. You know who's paying those lawyers? Nobody else does. If you do, chime in. Governor Greitens has admitted to my client, this is from her attorney again, on multiple occasions, he took her photograph without her consent and threatened to release if she told him about their relationship. So this is the victim saying, he took the picture, he told me he did, and he threatened me on multiple occasions. So maybe you still believe the family values guy. Maybe if you're a legislator, you believe the governor's word. Maybe you are a corrupt career politician. Maybe you should be at the FBI right now because Governor Greitens' word is good. This woman is saying it's not. The fact you're not at the FBI headquarters now, frankly, calls into question the governor's word anyway. Instead of taking responsibility for his actions, Governor Greitens has decided to let his team attack my client by mischaracterizing her deposition testimony. In an effort to preserve her privacy and the privacy of her children, my client refused to comment, and look, she has. She's totally not done this in the media, but I think they pushed her too far, and now she's talking. Her silence has allowed a number of false and misleading statements to go unanswered. However, the most recent attack on my client's credibility cannot be ignored. Again, they went too far. It's time to set the record straight. We will support a motion to release the complete transcripts of my client's deposition, so long as it's redacted. Governor Greitens is to take responsibility for his actions, to be honest about the fact he took my client's photograph without her consent. The governor can continue to try this case in the media, but at his trial, the facts will speak for themselves. My client has taken responsibility. Governor Greitens should do the same. Again, they just went too far. If they would have, this woman has let them attack her. And here's the number two thing they did to show they went too far. Judge Burleson, again, by all accounts, a really good guy. If you're watching this, you're Politico, right? You like politics. He's one of us. He's a judge, but he's definitely involved in politics. There's no account that he's a bad dude. He's in the worst spot in the state. I guarantee you, people will criticize him when this is over, no matter what. However, he had been letting them kind of do what the Johnny Cochran. Ed Dowd, formerly the most respected attorney in St. Louis, now Eddie No Consent Dowd. Where he's going in all of this. It's odd to see the guy who's donating to Claire McCaskill showing up on Republican talk shows carrying water. I wonder. It'd be interesting to me to know what Crystal Quaid thinks of that Ed Dowd contribution to Claire McCaskill, or Bruce Franks for that matter, or Kim Gardner for that matter. But what Judge Burleson did is he decided that there would be no more of these public leaks. What they were doing was Dowd was taking court filings and writing press releases he knew the judge would never take. He would throw them up to the court, he'd release them to the press, and then there'd be stories like the dream stuff. What the judge did, that's what Johnny Cochran did to Lancito. If you watch the great miniseries, and if you can watch the miniseries, you totally watch it. It's The People vs. O.J. Simpson. There's a part in there where Cochran realizes, I'm going to go to the media and try this case. And when he does, he drives Ito nuts. He does all these fake motions, press conferences, does a great job with it. And it worked. Judge Burleson's not going to be Lancito. He said, no, this is all going to be private from now on. So they went too far. They pushed her till she spoke out. And then they pushed the judge till he was like, okay, this is too far. This is obviously just a motion directed at getting media attention. You're not going to use my court as your own personal TMZ or your own personal Facebook page. It was interesting. I heard one observer say the governor's used the state like his own personal Facebook page. Judge Burleson decided that the governor wasn't going to use his courtroom as his own personal Facebook page. So leading up to this, there was a letter that was leaked out by the governor of his wife. She wrote a letter to the committee saying that the husband of this woman that was the victim cyberstalked her. As I understand, he sent her 3 emails. I don't know. It's a bad situation. The first lady and this man were both victims of the situation to really probably no fault of their own. Look, there's nothing new under the sun. When a guy is accused of this, he'll attack the woman. That's what generally happens. It's not new. Sometimes those attacks are real, and maybe this is one of them. I don't know, but that's what happens 50% of the time. This happens every time. And number 2 is when you see political wives in this situation, your heart goes out to them because she's not on the ballot. She has sought to be in the public eye. She signed the letter. I assume allowed them to leak the letter out that she sent to the committee. But there's 2 types. There's Jenny Sanford, who tries to take care of her family and then leaves, and there's Hillary Clinton types that are all in. I'll call people. I'll do interviews. I'm all in to save my husband's political career. It's a tough spot, honestly. There's no good spot for the first lady. She's in a bad way, and I think those that want to criticize her should just take a step back. If you've ever been in that situation, it's not easy. So it's tough. Going forward, you got to kind of feel like they're Wile E. Coyote, and they had the Acme Bomb Squad, right? They were holding it. And then the whole dream thing just blew up, and there they are, holding the remnants of the bomb. I think there's a 24-hour period here where the governor could resign. There's a reason why they've done so much pushback. They grasped for so many straws to try to keep this report from coming out or try to shape the landscape ahead of the report. In my view, it's because it's very hard to come back from whatever he's found. I have no idea what's in that report, but the governor fighting so hard If you look here, I predicted it. I am the Eric Greitens oracle. I did predict he would try to delay the report or try to quash it, and that's exactly what he did. If Eric Greitens ever becomes like a fighter, I can probably give you good odds if he's a boxer. Come to me for the gambling line. In this, he said, I think there's a 24-hour period here where he could step aside. Look, if he was going to do what's best for the state, he would have done that a long time ago. Mike Keel's words ring true. The state is bigger than one person, but in this case, it's not bigger than his ego by any stretch. I don't even think his supporters at this point argue that it's the best thing for the state. They just say, if he's going to stay, we're going to stay, and then there you go. Be a good friend, I guess. However, it's an interesting dichotomy. If this report comes out, if it's worth all the pushback they've done to keep it out, this could be a spot where just for him, I mean, if you're looking at your future income, you're looking at your family, do you want to go through this? This is something he's forced on the state. No one was, when that legislature was doing this, they were getting attacked by him while he was doing these things. So I think it could be that. The second time where there's a window is before Holly acts, and I know I love my friend Jane. I know if she's watching. I actually think you do a chilled red wine. I recommend Sine Dive with the crow you're going to have to eat, because I've seen Holly's moves. I think he's moving towards filing a charge, which means Jane Duke will be coming to West Butler County to Helms Hills Farms, right where M Highway turns to gravel in West Butler County. That's where Jane Duke will be eating her crow. I am very happy to serve it to her. I think that, look, here's the thing. If you're Greitens and you're going to do a deal, you want all the charges dismissed. Now, the federal guys, they don't play that game probably with you, so they're not going to give you any, but they might go away too. You don't know. I have no idea about federal stuff. But the state guys, I mean, Kim probably takes that deal, you have to think. Does Holly? I don't know. I mean, you're going to have a ton of glory for being the guy that does this. Maybe Holly says, okay, I'll drop my stuff and move on if you just resign for the betterment of the state. That's possible. I have no idea if he would, but I think it's likely Kim would. It's probably 50-50 of Holly would at this point. Let's talk about the thing everybody in Jefferson City is buzzing about all over, and that is the report that is coming out. As I understand it right now, they meet at noon to try to get everybody to sign it. There's 6 people that have signed the report and ready to go. There is one holdout that is refusing to sign or complaining about it or whatever. I know there's been a lot of leaks. Dave Dreves has written a lot about the leaking out of there to the governor. I mean, it's the confirmation when Dowd came out and said, we know that your report's going to suck. We know that you guys are going to have inaccuracies. We know you're going to have lies. And to save you, let us wait. Just don't put it out, and then we'll write the report for you. Wow. Let me look into the Stein of Knowledge real quick here. Yeah, I don't think they want to do that. And let me also ask you, how does Ed Dowd know what's in the report? How does he know that? Does he think that Jay Barnes is stupid? Does he think that Kevin Austin's an idiot and going to put together a bad report? I don't know, but he seemed to know what was in that report. It would lead credence to some of the talk of the leaks. Look, whoever doesn't sign the report, yeah, you look right at that guy, or I guess woman, but you look right at that guy. Let's cut the crap. You look right at that guy and say that guy probably was the guy leading the governor's office if he's the guy that had their position. We'll see, but that will be look for that. First of all, that's the first thing you should look for in the report. I think there may be a little bit about confide in there. When the Attorney General kicked the ball to them, they didn't have the time, and you're going to have computer guys that have smarter than me. It's not good. The confide thing is hard, and since he has to go by, there were laws that made him not do it, but it's still, I mean, there's a bunch of work to be done there. I don't think there's going to be a lot of Mission Continues in there. I think they're saving that because of the investigation that Hawley and Kim Gardner are doing. So I take it that they may not have a lot in there. You know, I could be wrong, but I think after the thing gets signed, whether it's 6 or 7 signatures on it, it's going to go to leadership, both the Republicans and Democrats, probably Senate leadership too, I assume. And they'll get a chance to take it in. And I think they're very cautious about leaks and are trying to keep it pretty tight. So maybe you don't see it until it becomes public. Then tomorrow, sometime noon, 2 o'clock, they'll have a caucus where the whole caucus will get a chance to see it, discuss it, whatever. I think they could do that at Farm Bureau or something. It'll be out of the Capitol. Then they're going to do a press conference, which will be probably the most watched press conference in Missouri House history. That press conference will detail the findings. Don't expect them to vote on a recommendation. Don't expect anything except a press conference. I think softball's even moved tomorrow. Thursday, look, the House has said from the beginning, we're going to keep doing what we do. They'll probably come in third, read a few bills. I don't think they'll be there a long time. So if you have, 4 o'clock dinner plans, if you're from Wentzville, you're probably making your dinner plans tomorrow. If you're Robert Ross and you're looking to have dinner at 5, I think you're going to be there early. So I think they'll do some third reads, and I think they will get out of the Capitol as fast as they can. Then next week, you're going to have impeachment resolutions filed by probably several members. If I had to guess, they'll have a handful of folks that they've picked out. It's one of those funny things. You'll talk. People say no distractions, and I think they mean that. And I think to the most part, they've actually overcompensated to prove there's no distractions. But from what I've seen, when Garrett from KRCG sent out a tweet, it was factually correct. They did extend the committee till the end of session just so they can do Michigan continues or whatever they need to do. That people read into that it meant the report was being delayed till the end of session, and the whole place, just everybody texting, calling. If you're saying it's not a distraction, that total blow up, they had to put out a statement, is proof of what you know. It's like you could probably say I don't skip a lot of cupcakes, and you could probably figure that when the governor is in a sex scandal and on trial, there's a distraction. Both would probably be true, and both actually are true because I like cupcakes. So I think you look at it. You look at a Jay Barnes probably carries it if they decide to do that. Rob Vescovo is a guy that could carry it. That would be that huge things like that. The floor leader has carried in the past. Kevin Corlew, look, Lauren Arthur's right now on the internet running ads, tying Corlew to the mess and Greitens. Now Corlew is a guy that came out and said he should resign. He's running in that very important Clay County Senate race in June. But I mean, if any of us that like politics and are watching this were working on a campaign, we'd be having Lauren Arthur run crazy with that too. So Corlew's a guy that might be able to do it. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I'm sure there'll be a lot filed. If they bring one to the floor, it probably moves. Let's look forward to the future. Past report again. I am the guy that predicted. I have the Steinem knowledge. Let me look into the Steinem knowledge and see what happens post report. Yeah, somebody they probably, if you're still on board and you're in House leadership, you probably are a weirdo. But I think what the governor will do is he'll step up the attacks on the woman. Now that the woman's speaking, I mean, it was always the interesting thing. He could go so far in attacking the woman, but he didn't want to attack her so much that she came out and spoke. Now that she come out and spoke and was extremely direct, as you saw, I think they will attack the woman, which is, again, this is the norm for what happens in these situations. I think that what they'll do, I think they'll probably attack Jay Barnes. I think probably tomorrow they'll start attacking Jay. They'll probably attack maybe Kevin Austin, probably attack Tommy Pearson and Gina Mitten, maybe Gene Lauer. They'll probably attack members of the committee because that's they have one thing. And let's be honest, I know that he's invited a few folks to watch a basketball game. Eric Greitens attacking the Missouri General Assembly and the Republicans that lead it is nothing new. That's the norm. So what's new has been him just going away and being quiet. I think you'll see the Facebook page light up with attacks. If I had to guess, that's what the Steinem knowledge is telling me. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know, but you have to realize if you're in that room on the whiteboard, after the dream thing kind of went decent, and you thought you were going to have something, then it blew up on you. You're probably grasping, and maybe you reach out and you do who knows what. But I would say an attack on Jay Barnes is coming, and then if the House impeaches him, look for the whole attacks on the whole House. They're all corrupt career politicians. It would be the norm. It would be what you would expect him to do. Some folks, look, I've been surprised. There's some folks I thought kind of had some gravel about them. They'll just take getting, attacked and made fun of and having their face rubbed in the mud. Part of the reason I got sideways with the people was because I was like, wait a minute. They're called people corrupt career politicians, have the integrity to say, like, who and how. Some people, there's some House members that just take it. That's the thank you, sir, I have another caucus. And they may take it again. I have no idea. Then if the House impeaches him, he'll attack the system. Look, there's very little authentic about the governor. There's probably just whatever fits a Facebook post at any one given time. I remember when he was attacking them for taking a vacation, my assumption is if he is still governor, by the time the legislature takes another vacation, there will not be a haughty, arrogant Facebook post saying, and I told the corrupt career politicians to cancel their vacations to get back to work. I don't think you'll see that this year. That's just what the Steinem knowledge is telling me while I take another drink from it before we take your questions. The Missouri mailbag, you can post your comments on here. Send your direct message us, not during the show, but before the show. You could send that, or you can send me an email, MissouriMailbag@TWMP.tv. You can text me anytime. Those of you that have my number, it's not hard to find. Rob in Cape Girardeau asked about Jamie Allman. Look, yeah, I mean, he got manipulated a little by the Greitens folks. He did. He said some pretty rough things. I mean, some of them are true. I mean, hell, he can't go, truth is a defense, I guess. I don't know. The thing I didn't like was he never called me. I never heard from him. I always had a good relationship with him. In December, he invited me to come on his show again, as he has a few times. The schedules just didn't work out. I don't have a beef with him. I don't know him that well. I've met him a few times. He's always been very nice in person. I have no idea what Jamie Allman's beef was with me, except I could probably figure that some folks for the governor used him. That's what these people do. They will use you, because if he leaves, they're no longer going to be in Missouri. They're never coming back. They'll burn you all down, make you all look like fools, as they have with some of you. And then they'll leave and they don't care. It's about as much as any. I mean, I don't say they're bad people. They care about as much as Missouri as I would care about, say, Georgia. I hope Georgia does well. I like Georgia. It's fine. But I'm not going to be all tore up if something bad happens in Georgia and I just don't go to Georgia anymore. I'll get over it. The Braves are not a team I expect to see in the playoffs in the anytime soon, so I'm fine. Jamie Allman's not a bad guy, man. He does some charity work. There's some people I know that like him. Again, I don't even know him. I always thought it was weak that he didn't call me and just say, "Hey, I love Eric Greitens. He's the greatest. He never did anything wrong. Why are you saying this?" But I never got that caller message. To his credit, he did message me and personally apologize. And I thought that was big of him. And let me just tell you, I know what it's like to be the guy everybody's on. I know what it's like to be the guy that's ostracized, talked about in the news. It's not fun. It sucks. And he's going through a hard time. I'm not a pylon guy. I think Jamie Allman's a talented dude, obviously, to be in the business he's been in this long. He has some talent. He has a following. And I think he will be back, maybe in a different incarnation. I don't know. I don't think Jamie Allman's like anti-labor. Some of this stuff didn't seem to fit a profile of what I knew. But look, I don't think he's a bad dude. And I think those that want to, what he said was terrible. They shouldn't have talked about the kid like that. You could attack me. I'm a big boy. I never engaged with him because I could tell they were like late at night and he was probably in a bad way. But look, I can just say that he shouldn't have said that. And I think he would. I assume if you talk to him, he's going to be like, yeah, I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. Should have ended his career. I don't think so. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that he should apologize, maybe even try to contact the kid. And then you move on. And I think people, if he's not on TV anymore, which I guess he's not, and he may not be on radio, that's enough. Don't be the people that try to ruin a guy's life. It's hard to make a living, and if you lost your income, even if you had it coming, it's not something to celebrate. I'm not a pile-on guy. I get it. Jamie Allman isn't. Maybe he was piled on before. If Eric Greitens leaves, the minute he leaves, I think people, if he does leave, I think people should try to reach out to his supporters and should try to. We're Midwesterners. There's a way we do things. We don't do things where we attack you till we burn you down. We have honest discussions. That's the way this state worked for a long time. For a lot of years, water's flowing past that Capitol. We've had a Washingtonization of our politics, and maybe it's coming to an end now. But if it does come to an end, if you were an anti-Greitens person, you need to stop piling on Greitens. If he ever puts the state in front of himself, you should put him first, and you should call a guy that was a fan of Eric Greitens, and let's be Midwesterners here. Let's not be East Coast people. We've been ran by some East Coast people for a while. Hopefully they'll go at some point. But when they do go, let's not let them affect us when they're gone. Casey and Jeff City about impeachment. I think that's probably going to be talked about. The Republican women have led the way thus far on a lot of things. You had Nate Walker. You have a Steve Cookson. You have guys that have, some gravel in their guts. Some folks have stayed quiet, frankly, because they're in leadership or they were thinking about a committee like this or something. They have no reason to be quiet now. I don't know what will happen with an impeachment, but sure, I think he will. I think that he'll still have his well-paid supporters. He'll have you'll be down to the folks that are either just the total Kool-Aid drinkers or the folks cashing a check. And again, if you support people in public life is how you pay your bills, don't dog other people who support or oppose people in public life because it's how they pay theirs. But yeah, I think that'll be talked about. I have no idea how you write an impeachment resolution or anything like that. I assume it's just a resolution. It gets referred to a committee and then they vote it out, just like every other thing. But you can bet on one thing. If he should go, Todd Richardson will do the right thing. if he should stay, Todd Richardson will do the right thing. And if you're a person that hates Eric Greitens, you can know that if he should go, Todd Richardson will do the right thing. And if you're a person that loves Eric Greitens and thinks he's the greatest, you can know that Todd Richardson will do the right thing. Whatever he says is something the entire state should come behind and support. And I've said that all along, and I'll say it again. If you have to bet on two things in life, you can bet on the St. Louis Cardinals being the greatest baseball team in the Crown Jewel of the National League, and you can bet on Todd Richardson will always do the right thing. Sharon and Lee Summon, how does it affect the Clay County race? We talked about that. It does. I mean, if you're Lauren Arthur, you're going to town on this. You're going to own it. It's a Democrat district, leans Democrat. Sylvia's a great politician, held it. Two, if you have this wonderful gift, you're going to use the thing, right? I mean, you're definitely going to hit Republicans over the head with it. And anybody that works on a campaign in real life would know you do the same thing. So that's it for this week, midweek update. I want to thank everybody. Watch the show Sunday. Check your local list. It's 11 in St. Louis, 9 in Kansas City. Should be an interesting week. We might have a few things to talk about. I think we have Scott Dickhouse. I think Jane Duker is going to join us. We'll discuss her crow eating habits and all things Missouri politics. Until next time, Matheny. Oh my God. How do we sign a closer and he walks in 4? Gussie goes to the game last night. It's freezing cold. Yeah, the team doesn't look good. It looks like last year's team. Can't field, can't run the bases. Bullpen blows games. You wake me up from August of last year. That's the exact same thing. This team has more talent than last year, and it has a better coaching staff. Look, if Matheny doesn't make the playoffs, you got to go. You got to go, man. 3 years. This is you ain't in Pittsburgh. You ain't in Tampa Bay. You got to go. You ain't in San Diego. You can stay. That's fine. You don't make the playoffs 3 years, but never won a ring. I think a ring buys you 5 years. Never won a ring. You know how many people have as many rings as Mike Matheny? Everyone watching this show has as many rings as Mike Matheny. When I look at the Stein of Knowledge, a former owner of the team, brought us many world championships, Gussie Busch. Gotta win. Gotta win, gotta win, gotta win, gotta win. You have a better team. You don't have a better record. You're losing games the exact same way you lost them last year. If you think the Greitens thing is a constitutional crisis, if we miss the playoffs again and we have the same manager, that's a constitutional crisis. And I will leave you with that. Happy report watching. We will see you Sunday on This Week in Missouri Politics. I'm going to have to ask Rachel to help me turn this off because I don't actually know how to do it.